Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Happy Thursday. It's May 2nd, 2024. Gorgeous day today. The temperature on my weather app is 88 degrees. Get into it. Great change, double change on the horizon. Also, great drastic change in the weather pattern by this weekend. I think tomorrow's going to be in the 70s or like at 70, which is good, but then it's dropping back down to like the 60s, and it's a bit of a roller coaster with the weather right now, but as I said before, I'd rather have a nice easeful transition between spring and summer than to have a long winter and then bam, 90-degree summer days. So I'm enjoying it personally. I am taking it all in stride with grace and gratitude. So I hope that you're doing well. If I didn't already say that, it certainly is worth saying again. And I'm excited to see what the message is today. Wow, full card, new beginnings. New adventure, pack light. This is the first card starting at 0 in the tarot deck. Yeah, it's about taking leaps of faith, being excited about what adventure is on the horizon, as unknown or known as it may be. Again, it's about packing light energetically, if not actually so, not taking too much baggage from your past season on with you to the next. Just kind of being bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and faithful for the most about what the possibilities of the future may be and may hold. This is definitely having a great deal of faith in self and trust in divine ordinance. Is when you get that invitation to do something you get the invitation to engage, because it may not be to do or to go or whatever, but it's definitely a being here. When there's a door that swings open for you to walk through, it's the fearlessness to step over that threshold. Who you get to be to step over into that threshold or to consider new possibilities is the foundational aspect of this card. The Fool. So it appears, wow, justice. So it appears, maybe even on the outside looking in, like, what is she doing? What is he doing over there? Like, is he all right? And little did you know that this was the justice that you may have been, that may be long overdue for a change of scenery, a change of experience, maybe even a shift in identity. But there's something that, with the Justice card here, is something that was already set into motion by some previous events or occurrences, whether it is by way of your faith to believe for a new opportunity or a fresh experience, or it could be reconciling with what was already due to you, just the natural order of evolution or progression as seasons, as I was talking about spring into summer, like just how it's set to be naturally. That there was just that this is just time for the next thing to begin. Something about cause and effect here, though, with justice is what I'm really trying to tap into. Let me take it out because I felt, wow, I feel something here. And then the Emperor card. I guess I'm gonna have to do this. No, but it doesn't feel like that. It feels like this. Now, I don't know what energy this is here, whether this is being left behind or this is the stepping into the identity that I was speaking of. It could be a little bit of both, of releasing forces that have assumed authority, or that you may have relented authority or control over, because that's why I was saying there's something here about cause and effect, because there was some type of stronghold here of energies that had taken liberty to either assert their control, dominance, dictatorship, perhaps, over the natural order and balance, as I was speaking of it, of evolution and moving forward, and the cycle of ending and new beginnings. There was something here that was being detained. Yeah, that's what I feel. And the justice is like the liberation, finally, of that cycle to move as free-flowing as it should, naturally, without interference, without delay, without objective influence, particularly unjustifiably. So this could literally be the matter of taking your power back, because it's like the Fool is usually, if you consider like the court, the royal court, the Fool sometimes can be the expression of the jester, and that's probably why I was saying it looks like the Fool, because it's the source of entertainment, the joke for the court, to be the clown, more or less. Entertainment at the expense of one's pride, but at the request, or maybe even demand or command, because a lot of times, at least fantastically, we see that if you couldn't make the king or queen laugh, like, consider Remember the Times off with his head, So this could be like a transformative MJ type of energy, where you're taking your power back and no longer being the butt of societal jokes, societal entertainment, or the jester of the court. That you're taking all that energy and alchemizing it for your own good, and having perhaps physical and spiritual support to justify that transition. Because perhaps where it was bound, or where you were bound, or whatever this full energy is, was not lawful. It was an obstruction to natural order, perhaps even to physical law and spiritual law. So the emperor could be representative of society. It could be a dominant power figure, such as a CEO, a public figure like a politician. It could be the patriarch of the patriarchal energy of society. It could be the patriarch or head of a household. That's the range of influence that the emperor could represent. But there's some type of with the justice card is given some exoneration here. Exoneration and liberation. And I feel the Five of Cups is the energy of whatever's being left behind that can no longer rule tyrannically. That can no longer dictate, no longer control, bind, bound, influence. There's some loss of power and influence here, but primarily on account of someone that has found the courage and the confidence to redeem what ultimately always belonged to them, which I hear was their dignity. Not pride and ego, which could be faltering, but dignity and respect. Interesting. All right, let's see what else comes up. Queen of Wands. What's the Queen of Wands? What's she on? What's she on? Let's come down here. There's confidence for sure. Yeah, dignity and respect. And emotional, I would say this could be even be like self-love, like reconnecting with your own spiritual affirmation of security. Yeah, because this is someone that's quite pleased with themselves as they are, not needing a great deal of validation for this posture of pride in a purer sense. Maybe even becoming very attractive in nature to fresh opportunity. Yeah, there's the cause and effect. Because of this because of someone kind of like breaking themselves free of certain maybe this is like societal norms no longer being held in contempt by what's been dictated that they should be, do, and have, and the expectations that come, you know, that are attached to that. I should say the limitations that are attached to that. And this is somebody breaking free, not caring how they look doing so either. And that is what has yielded this attraction with the Queen of Wands, this newfound courage and boldness and fertility, which is why I love this, the Queen of Wands, because it's still the masculine energy here with being spiritually fulfilled, maybe even being very much connected to one's feminine attributes of nurturing and compassion, even if it's just for self, grace. But the Queen of Wands is almost like the feminine energy that is can even be quite masculine, but ideally is at least pretty balanced in that regard, and can hold a great deal of masculine attributes, or energetic attributes, I should say, but it's still fertile nonetheless, that is still able to conceive creativity and deliver it, and also be an attractive force for new opportunities to do the same. So it's like a regenerative process. What is this? This is interesting. So it could be somebody, it could be this, like somebody leaving a high position of power, but that had a great deal of strings attached to it. Like maybe somebody leaving a role as the head of some corporation or organization that was just very stuffy and confining. It didn't really allow them to express their creativity. Or leaving from up under a corporation where you had a boss that was a bit overbearing and controlling, and maybe even narcissistic to some degree, especially with that Five of Cups. So somebody should never be that devastated that they don't have control over another person's energy anymore. If that was the case, you know, that's tyrannical. So yeah, so maybe this is just the courage to begin to exercise those creative muscles while still being in a nurturing frequency. All right, let's see what else. Oh, that was too much going on. But I think that was a Three of Pentacles, which definitely implies work. So I don't know. Could be some talk around the water cooler. What's today? Today is Thursday. But I was saying that it kind of felt like a Friday. So I don't know. Maybe you gearing up to put in your notice to head on out. If that is the case, I feel like this message is pretty confirming and affirming that you'll be successful in whatever leap of faith that you may be about to take, as unconventional as it may seem, perhaps a little bit unsturdy to the norm of what you're used to, or what you could ideally rely on as stable and secure. There's undoubtable success on the horizon for your audacity. What's on the bottom? Wow, Ten of Swords. Yeah, it's the end of something. some corruption on the job or some corruption and whatever. Maybe that's the reason for the Justice card. It may be something that you don't even really know about. I just got that energy. Because the Fool card looks kind of happy-go-lucky, like, It's given to me, and just hear me out here, because I don't necessarily have the evidence for this, I don't think, but I sense this. It's given to me that you or someone, let's say, may have felt the nudge or urge to transition from a space, right? Now, the urge as it presents itself is one thing, but it's actually not the cause. That's why I was saying, like, something about cause and effect. It's actually, it could actually be somehow unknown as to why it is necessary or was necessary and justified for that transition to occur. Like, say you're in a place where you're being treated unfairly, but you don't even really know it. Like, maybe there's some imbalance in power or some unfairness regarding promotion. Like, you should be next up for a promotion, or you should be getting paid at a certain rate, and unbeknownst to you, there is a great void between what you may be getting paid to do to operate in a position that your colleagues are in the same, the same capacity and getting paid more. Like, even say, like, down to race or something like that. Like, I'm feeling something here. It's hard for me to articulate it. That the spirit may have urged you to, that it's time to go, and it could be quite passively, to some degree, even though it takes a great leap of faith, but the urgence of it could be pretty passive, like, all right, well, I just submit or relent to the season that has closed and the season of rebirth or renewal that's on the horizon. But little did you know, you might have escaped a great deal of either an impending sabotage or may have loosened yourself from corruption that was not at all, like, it just wasn't right. It wasn't fair, it wasn't righteous, it wasn't lawful. As again, between spiritual and natural law, there's something here. Like I said, the jester, like, being the butt of the jokes. It's like everybody else knows that there's some running joke regarding you, whether it be on the job, or in a group of friends, or in some association of sorts, or in a place, like, wherever it is that there was a connection. It's like everybody else was laughing, but you didn't even know there was something to laugh at. Little did you know, you were the one being laughed at, or being made a mockery of, or being made fun of, or something, like some type of spectacle that you were vulnerable to, or maybe even being violated on account of. You didn't know it, but you still listen to your intuition to move forward. And that's the double justice here, because it's not only that on account of your faith and courage to take a leap into where you feel more valued or more fulfilled with that Nine of Cups energy, is also justified, a justified response, because now your energy with that Five of Cups, that's the energy that you're leaving behind. Because whether you were the butt of jokes or not, there must be something special about your presence and whatever you have to offer into those people, places, and spaces for it to be felt when you release yourself from it. And maybe perhaps folks never anticipated that you would, that you would say, you know, I quit, or I'm leaving, or I'm disconnecting, or I'm moving, or we're breaking up, or whatever, you know, like whatever the disconnection was, it was never quite anticipated that you would ever have the courage and the audacity, you know, the will to make that move. Perhaps an anticipation or even a projection of fear, whether it be for the unknown ahead of you or for the repercussions behind you, you know, but it wasn't quite anticipated that you would ever have the courage to make the leap that you did. And when you did, you left a great deal of sabotage. This is almost a backfire in your wake, or will, if this hasn't happened yet. And it has, again, stabilized a very imbalanced situation to really kind of be the just desserts for whatever this disproportioned situation was, or whatever the disenfranchisement was to you, perhaps even unbeknownst to you. So although this is a 10 of Swords, it's like you may not even have known how many swords were in your back, how many people may have been talking shit, how many rumors may have been spread. Because when I said I saw the 3 of Pentacles on top of that little heap of cards, sometimes I see that as like chit chat around the water cooler, and it could be actually so, if there even are water coolers at the job anymore. I don't know. I guess there are. But it just could be like a rumor mill amongst associates or friends that has been circulating, of which when you walk up, everybody changes the subject or nobody has anything to say. But this is information that could have been a detriment to your character, talking about you, and here you are just trying to brighten up, liven up the energy in the court, you know, just trying to bring joy and laughter and upliftment to every space that you enter. And as soon as you leave, it's like, oh, you see that? You heard what she said? Did you see what he had on to that? You know, like that type of energy. You see what they posted the other day? You see what is she talking about? You know, it's like that type of energy. You ain't even know that was going on because you were just too busy being you, doing what makes you happy, and allowing the rest to take care of itself. And what the gag is that for however great of a hee ha ha folks may have had on you, the joke is now on them, because now they're devoid of that energy that you projected, and there wasn't an appreciation for it while it was accessible, but now there's definitely an acknowledgement of the void now that it's not. Laugh at that, motherfucker. King of Pentacles. Oh, that's gonna be on the bottom now, I guess. Yeah, exactly. Laugh at these. Oh God, that's funny. Now that you're taking your show on the road, taking, you know, your talents elsewhere, where they can be more appreciated and better compensated, perhaps actually, because I literally feel something here about what I said, about some imbalance or unfairness in pay or opportunity, respect level, advancement, something where you should have been up for a promotion or been up for a raise or been considered for maybe even this position. You know, maybe that was the threat and the projection for put down, is that your energy, your frequency was more of a threat to those that you know, for whatever reason, it could even be like creativity with the Fool card, like somebody that's just lighthearted and you're willing to kind of try anything, you know, to maybe even be a bit revolutionary in your ideals, and it could have evoked some jealousy or envy for your potential, and how that could be a threat to others' position of authority or power, like maybe actual position, but certainly a threat to either to like a reflective threat as to security, like it invoked insecurity. That's what it is. Whether it was job security or relevance security, power. Like imagine, I think that's one of the laws of power of the very few that I remember, but something about like never wanting to make your boss feel less than you, or something along that lines. Like you never kind of want to make prop yourself up to feel or look or appear smarter than your superior, which trust me, I do not adhere to those laws. I think they're quite demonic, honestly, when you really get into it. But to my point, that's the type of energy that would evoke the demons of someone that is quite ego and pride driven, maybe even exclusively ego and pride driven, that they revel in the appearance of being the best, of being the figurehead, of being the one in the most possession of power, to have the most creativity, or at least to throw their power around, to control how that consciousness gets to be manifested or disseminated, you know. This is the one, like, you have a brilliant idea and either they'll shoot it down and make sure it never sees the light of day, or they'll shoot it down to you, but then go repurpose it and present it to the board or to their colleagues as if it were their brainchild. Like, that's that type of energy. Somebody that's very materialistically driven, all about, with this energy, King of Pentacles, like about power and position and accolades, accomplishments, prestige, you know, like influence in a certain type of way. Capricorn vibes. To that point, when we talk about Capricorn, it's about other people's energy that would be, like I said, willing to exploit other energies, as it would be with the jester of the court, right? To exploit other energies at their own expense, but for their own exaltation. Yeah, something here with that, but it hasn't fared well, because it seems like now that someone has left, as I said, it's like, now where am I going to get my source of supply? Particularly if we're talking about a narcissistic person. Who's going to be my punching bag? What ideas am I going to extract from? Because they may not have much going for themselves on their own. Who am I going to make fun of to relieve my own insecurities? You know, who am I going to get my rocks off by abusing, even if they don't know about it? There's somebody that just gets off knowing that they hold a certain power and authority over you, and you may not even know, like I said, like something that's been happening behind your back that you weren't even aware of, but it was entertaining for them. And it may not even be limited to a person. Like I said, I saw that Three of Pentacles. It could be a collusion of corruption in some capacity or another. And here is the PTSD, because this is the energy that someone's going to be left in on the count. It's like the minute you excused yourself from a disproportionate dynamic is the minute that everything went to shit. If this is a job, that means that their creativity has been at a standstill. No new projects have really been rolling out. Nothing innovative. You know, maybe profit is low. Productivity is low. The morale on the job. I'm saying this figuratively because, of course, it's not limited to a job, but I feel something on that energy. The morale of the job is at an all-time low. People are not excited. Hell, maybe once upon a time they at least used to get excited about getting together to talk about you, but that energy is missing now. They don't even have that to relate to one another on anymore, to entertain each other about anymore. And then, of course, what it also highlights, as I said, is that spark of creativity that is now missing, and that's a bit of a backlash and a smack in the face on account of those that may have, you know, thought you were amusing or a joke, because it's quite evident in spaces that you are now released from how much value you actually brought to it. And that nobody really wants to admit that, you know, that to then reflect, be a reflection of their own incompetence or lacklusterness, you know, for lack of a better term. Double smack. Got people probably wishing they would have left you alone or treated you better, or, you know, gave you that raise or that promotion, or honored your ideas, supported your creativity, anything. Secretly though, because that's the imbalance here with the Nine of Wands, because nobody that is in the energy that I'm speaking of would want to admit that you leave that type of void, because what does that say about them? But at the same time, it's kind of undeniable. And the only folks that are left to manage the void of it all are the ones that well, the ones that are left to manage the void of it all don't necessarily have the potential or capacity to fill that space. Or maybe they don't even want to, whatever the case may be. It's noticeable. That's funny as hell. Ooh, wow. More Capricorn energy. We got Libra, we got Aries with the Emperor, fire sign, hella fire energy. And now here's Capricorn again. And when you consider those signs, Libra is very cardinal. Capricorn is cardinal too, isn't it? Yeah, it is actually. And Aries is as well. Interesting. Interesting. So wait a minute now. Libra is the air, Capricorn is the earth, and Aries. Yeah, that's right. All three. And I hardly ever call signs. So for that to be made clear to me must have some relevance. But the point that I'm drawing on in this moment is that we got a whole bunch of chiefs. You know that saying, too many chiefs and not enough Indians. It's probably hella racist to say that in that regard now, but those are all cardinal signs, folks that want to be large and in charge, that want to be the boss, that in their rightful energy are quite directive, and quite, proactive and things like that. So you could have been, what's the Fool? Is the Fool, shoot, is that Gemini? Damn it, I can't even remember. Or is that Aries too? That might be Aries too. But if it is, that would be even more interesting, because it's like you have all the traits and the attributes of a leader, but packaged very differently. You didn't have to wear it on your sleeve or on your lapel like a badge of honor. It wasn't really that deep to you to be the one that was deemed to be the leader or the boss or the one in charge, or even to necessarily get credit for certain ideas or creativity. It's like a difference between a leader, a natural born leader, and one that assumes the position almost by force, but really emphasis on the assumption of leadership, perhaps even without the capacity, the skill sets, or the character, more so than anything. That's what this is. It's about some tremendous deficits in character. That's what this is. And for someone that has character that almost is just easily, naturally, organically a leader and innovative and creative, oh hell yeah, that can be a threat to those that want to look the part. Interesting. This devil energy is strong. And I get that people are just left to their own devices. Like I said, a great void of, a great limitation, a great void, and great limitations in the places that you left behind. Like some spaces may have tried to keep you bound and contained to not to shine too bright for fear that you might outshine them, like it was a competition. And they ultimately, dampered their own destiny is what I'm hearing. Yeah, certainly. Shoot, it might be all hell breaking loose where you came from or where you about to leave. People losing their job, don't know where their next meal is coming from or if they're going to get another one. Stressed out about stuff that's going awry on the job or in the environment that you were in. The boss is taking his frustration out on everybody underneath of him, justified or not, having to find some new outlet for that stream of abuse, trying to dominate over, almost like batten down the hatches on even more stringent limitations on account of fear that somebody else might escape his grips, may even be in jeopardy of losing their position on account of the depreciation of productivity and profit and success. And it's all justified. It's all lawful because of how awful some energies were behaving. Yeah, and that came out in a bit of a struggle, but more so how I let it fall. But consider that, the struggle of the Lover's card, of people having a hard time, like perhaps seeing the best of themselves because they didn't even know that you were reflecting to them the best of themselves because of your commitment to the best of yourself. They didn't know that. They didn't know what they were in the presence of. They just saw the outward appearance or, felt enlivened or soothed by making you the butt of the jokes or the, you know what I mean, the source of entertainment on account of how different you were or how strange or weird or, you know, whatever the case may be that you appeared to be, maybe out of step and out of line with what the societal consensus was. But they completely missed, while they were looking the opposite way, they missed the opportunity to see the best of themselves for themselves in your very reflection, to be inspired by your presence. And that's why the effect is fair as to what gets to, you know, be left behind, because the cause of the disruption as to why you couldn't have been settled in that space in the first place was all wrong. It was unrighteous, and not unrighteous by religious standards. It was out of integrity, and it was out of the alignment of what is fair and harmonious and balanced, which everyone has a right to. Certainly no one has a right to obstruct that natural order. No one has the right to take that liberty to obstruct what should be natural. That if you were committed to even being excellent in your position or in your creativity and your power and whatever it is, just you being you, whatever it was, that you should have been privileged to receive what return and reward would come with that naturally, without interference or objection. And anybody else should have been inspired to receive the same for their own. But it seems like with that Ten of Swords, wherever you were, people gained more by stepping on your back, maybe to climb a ladder, maybe to prop themselves up, maybe to elevate their, again, their own securities or their own self-esteem, whatever it was. They felt like you were a great source of, you were a great launching pad, a good doormat, you know, like to project themselves from. And they missed the mark. They missed an opportunity to ascend and rise to the occasion of their own excellence. Wow. Damn. I just heard it's going to be a lot of slow singing and flower bringing if my burger alarm starts ringing. That's Warning by B.I.G., right? Is that Warning? All purposeful, got the rock wallets by the door. Yeah, and I feed them gunpowder so they can devour the criminals trying to drop my decimals. Damn, you heard that? The criminals trying to drop my decimals. I'm telling you, something unlawful was going on here. That it was more than just you being the brunt of a joke. You were all also being exploited or extorted. I don't know which one, because usually with extortion you kind of got to know about that. So I would think that it would be more the exploitation for some material advancement. So they can devour the criminals trying to drop my decimals. What comes after that? All purposeful, got the rock, if you don't know power. With the criminals trying to drop my decimals. Damn. Niggas want to stick me for my cream and it ain't a dream. Things ain't always what it seem. It's the ones that smoke blunts with now they want to grab the guns and come and get ya. Ooh. What? Grab the guns and come and get ya. So it might be so much rage here on account of your detachment that people are this is mental imbalance here between the Nine of Swords and the Nine of Wands, and it also might be some criminal charges with the Justice. Yeah, something, man. Thank you, BIG, for piercing through like that. Shoot, you are welcome in this space. Hold up. Oh, they want to grab the gun. Damn, niggas want to stick me for my paper. Damn, niggas want to stick me for my paper. I'ma post that. One of my favorite songs on the Ready to Die album. Classic album. So some people might be on some real ignorant shit. Letting their pride and ego really advance them into activities and actions that ultimately is going to get them killed. Because at the end of that, it wasn't a good look for the perpetrators in that song. Like, yo, you got a red dot on your head. Oh, you got a red dot on your head too. Oh, that was Puff, and I think that was Puff, and one of them was Puff, I think, that was doing Diddy, then Puff, now Diddy, that was doing that monologue at that little, what do you call it, that little skit at the end. So it's like, for anybody that even thinks that they're going to go into attack mode or what they may even consider to be retaliation, but it can't, that's really mentally imbalanced, because ain't no, what's the retaliation because somebody left and dismissed themselves from an imbalanced situation, whether it be people, places, or things, spaces, whatever it was. It's like, how you gonna enact some aggression towards someone else on account of them bringing something to a close because it's now affected you? That's wild. So be mindful. It's the ones that smoke blunts with something with now they want to grab the guns and come and get you. So it could be somebody closer than even just a casual work association. Maybe some people that you least expect to want to like make you pay for the loss that they're experiencing, of which you are not responsible or guilty of. So we'll see how that pans out. Let me get a few more. Who the fuck is this paging me at 5:46 in the morning, crack of dawn, and now I'm yawning. Wipe the cold out my eye. See who is this paging me and why. It's my nigga Pop from the barbershop. Told me he was in the gambling spot and heard the intricate plot. Some niggas wanna stick me like fly paper, neighbor. Slow down, love, please chill, drop the caper. Remember them up in Hill, up in Brownsville, that you rolled dice with, and rolled dice with? Nah, up in Prospect. Nah, it's not love, wouldn't disrespect. I didn't say them. They schooled me to the something, when you was clocking minor figures. Now they see you blowing up like nitro, and they want to stick the pipe, and they want to stick the knife through your windpipe slow. Damn. Niggas want to stick me for my paper. You hear all that I'm saying? They see you blowing up like nitro, and they want to stick the knife through your windpipe slow. They heard about the Rolexes and the Lexus, they heard about the band, something you got up in Georgetown. Wait, how they go? They heard about the Rolexes and the Lexus upstate. They heard about you down in Georgetown, and it's heard you got the whole Virginia locked down. So yeah, it's like it's fueled by jealousy and envy of how when you release yourself from a space, you elevated. Lover's energy. Not only did you elevate beyond the potential that they always saw in you anyway, but you elevated even beyond what could have ever have been predicted or expected. And it's a smack in the face to those that thought you were the court jester, the class clown, and the butt of every joke. Wow. I'm out of here. I'm out of here. But what I will say is you saw that came out in the struggle. So that it's like whatever the ambition is here, because of the nature of the motivation, it's already lost. And it's already returned to sender, backfire, before it probably even gets out the gate. Before they can take a gun out the holster, it's already backfiring. Before somebody can even load up the car to get on the road, they got a flat tire. By the time they change that, get on the road, they getting pulled over by the cops or getting into some type of accident along the way. If by God they make it past that, by the time they get to where they think you are, you're already gone. You're not even there anymore. And that could be physically, it can also be energetically. Because mentally and spiritually, you've already ascended beyond this realm of reality of where they're still stuck. Whomever they and it and whatever it is. Wow. It ain't gonna be nothing but missed opportunities from them, as I said, treating you the way that they did, not appreciating your presence, not seeing the value while it was accessible, pushing you out the door on account of this imbalance to some degree, whether it was known or unknown, and on account of how they didn't have the proper response after your exit. Still not getting it, not listening to their own personal intuition as to how they can be uplifted and ascended too. Not now retaliating. This is like, in a practical sense, beyond like the warning BIG stuff, which I feel there could be some relevance to that, unfortunately. But this could also be like an old boss that may have, that may actually have the influence, right, to put out a narrative or a bad review or a poor, what do you call it, reference regarding you as an employee or team member or whatever. Like that's also that could be that 10 of swords, where they get ahead of the game and start spreading the word to the competitors or to any potential clients or corporations you might engage, that almost kind of blackballing you to some degree, so that no one will want to work with you. But lo and behold, you wasn't trying to work with nobody else but yourself anyway. You are the boss now. And then when they get word of that, see, it might be an energy where it was unknown where you were going off to next. Maybe you didn't even know, like I said, with the full energy, just ready for the ride. So they thought they could get ahead of you and put out word that, yeah, don't hire her. Or God forbid, you don't even know that people are calling for a reference from your old employer, and they steady telling them she was late every day, he was lazy on the job, he didn't contribute anything, like just tarnishing your character, your reputation, your work ethic, everything, making it virtually impossible. Maybe that could have happened, and that's why you now have to be your own boss, because you couldn't get a leg up or an opportunity otherwise. Joke's on you. Now somebody's getting even more, put in an even better position than they would have been, perhaps working for someone in a tyrannical energy such as you anyway. And where are you but still stuck answering to somebody? Yep. And this is like, regardless of what the ambition is, it's too little too late, and it's known. It's too little too late. And whatever it is that they manifest, or whatever is manifested on account of this great disturbance here, is what someone or something or some place is now going to have to settle with. It's like, now this is yours. So that void in creativity, the depreciation in profit, and the value of stocks or whatever the case may be, it's like now it's their issue to have to deal with. Not your problem. And it wasn't your problem when you were there, because that's not the energy that you invested in that space. Too bad they didn't realize it when it was the reality, though. Now they have a new reality to deal with. And as I said before, right, God forbid if somebody try to beat you, like even with what the example I just gave of somebody, trying to get ahead of you to spread a narrative, a tarnishing narrative, or defame your character in some way. It's like that now is going to be reflected onto them again as something that they have to deal with tangibly. But it also is just like, it doesn't quite meet its mark. It was a delayed reaction that wasn't quite, it's like spirit is already ahead of your greatest opposition. They could never be on time with their best plan, with their best, with their top shooters, with their biggest guns, with their most bitter aggressions. They still would never be able to meet you where you are to really make an impact, only unless you were moving outside of your own integrity and you got caught slipping on account of that. Otherwise, in the position that you're in, following your faith, being guided justifiably toward your destiny in that star energy, naturally, organically answering to your supreme self in confidence and looking ahead toward how you can cultivate your own creativity for long-term success, not worrying about what you left behind, not even too much worrying about what's even ahead of you, but just being present with yourself where you are. They will never meet you at that rendezvous because these are people that are not present with themselves. These are energies that are stuck in the past and obsessed with the future that has not even occurred yet. So that's a miss the mark mentality every single time. So you just keep doing you, living life, like it's golden, because it is. Don't even give energy to anything that could potentially present itself to be a threat of violence, obstruction, threat, aggression, any of it. Because like I said, it will not even make it out of the gate before it backfires right to where it should be with sender. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, as always, I leave you with peace.